Denny, is this the end?
Of course not. It's only the beginning.
Sucks is the word. I am the Wiz. Alright, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this review, please leave a like at the end of this video. And if you want to watch more, please subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. Alright, I'm here today to review the 1978 musical Grease, starring John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, Stockard Channing, and Jeff Conaway, directed by Randal Kleiser. From the time I was a child to now, I have heard from many people of different stripes and personalities about their love for Grease. Of course, there were young girls who would sing songs from the movie and do the dance numbers. Yeah, even in the 90s they were doing this still. But then I also met guys when I was growing up who would also exclaim their love for this film. Hell, there was even one guy I knew in high school who, if I'm being honest, I was pretty intimidated by. But when he found out I was big into movies, the first thing he said to me without saying that he would beat me up or anything was, "Hey, have you seen Grease? I fucking love that movie." Well, I'm glad I watched Grease when I was in my 40s and he's not around, so I can say this without worrying about getting beaten up or dying. Grease starts out strong in the beginning, but quickly becomes a bore as the film hits the second half. Now, some of you might be ready to roast me and say, how could you hate something with such great songs like Summer Nights and Hopelessly Devoted to You? And my answer to that question would be, well, those songs are actually pretty good. I actually like those songs. Those are pretty good. Yeah. In fact, most of the songs in the first half of the film are pretty damn good and catchy. We already mentioned Summer Nights and Hopelessly Devoted to You are good, but the song I really like in the film is Grease is the Word, which is the theme song, and that's incredibly catchy. And I also like Grease Lightning. I thought that was a fun song. But with the exception of You're the One That I Want, none of the other songs really land for me. And sadly, there are a lot of different songs. Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee, Alone in the Drive-Thru Movie, and especially, oh my god, I hate the song, especially Beauty School Dropout, are just complete duds for me. I did not like any of those songs at all. But let's take away Alone at the Drive-Thru Movie for a second. What do they seem to all have in common? The answer is they don't feature John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John in the songs. It becomes abundantly clear throughout the film that if Travolta and Newton-John aren't on screen together in some way, Grease falls incredibly flat. The big reason for me is that none of the characters are all that interesting or entertaining. Even Rizzo, played with a sassy attitude by Stockard Channing, feels quite dull despite her being markedly different from the rest of the female cast. But if I'm honest, Danny and Sandy aren't all that interesting either. The only reason to enjoy these characters is due to the charm of the lead actors. If it weren't for that, this film would just be loaded with lifeless, bland characters with a 50s template. That leads to Grease having some really catchy bright spots, followed by a boring high school film with one-dimensional characters and some heavy misses with the musical choices. And of course, there are other glaring issues that have been talked about to death by many others. I know that a lot of people will cry misogyny at the end of the film, where Sandy changes herself into a leather-clad babe, but in all fairness, I really don't find that to be bad, since Danny was willing to change to be with her too. Now, if you want to argue she did more to change than he did, then I completely agree. That's completely true. For those to just cry that she turned into a pick-me girl, seem to conveniently leave out Danny was willing to change too. But the other glaring issue is the age of the actors. Now, I know this is common in teen movies from the 70s and all the way up to the 90s and even today, but it's glaring here. These actors are too old to play high schoolers. Now, I'm surprised to read that Travolta was 23 when he did this film, but Olivia Newton-John was 29, Stockard Channing 31, and despite them being attractive women, they were clearly attractive women and not young girls. That is really key there. It's really weird to look at these women and be like, wow, these are very attractive. They look really good in this film. Oh, God, what am I doing? They're high school. Wait a minute, they're in their 30s. I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? In the end, Grease bored me more than it really excited. It had hot flashes of energy and catchy music, but it's peppered into a story that has boring characters and other song and dance numbers that just don't hit the way I was expecting. Alright, so before I get into my rating, let's see what other people think about this film. Letterboxd users has it at a 3.5 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a score of 66%, and this was nominated for 1 Oscar, and that was for Best Original Song, and that was Hopelessly Devoted to You. Not bad. Not bad. I guess that was just one of the songs that weren't in the play, so okay, cool. So, my rating for Grease is 1.5 out of 5. Yeah, like I said, the only thing about this film that I think really works is John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. I think they have the best characters, but only because I find those two actors charming. Everyone in this film is one-dimensional. Everyone in this film is not interesting at all. I end up feeling more bored by the film as the second half started rolling, and the song and dance numbers just did not work for me. Again, I think the songs in the beginning are actually the best one. The theme, Grease is the Word, I think is great. Summer Nights is very good. Hopelessly Devoted to You is very good. But yeah, like those songs, Grease Lightning, I think is a good song. But the rest just did nothing for me, and I actually was actively hating listening to Beauty School Dropout. I hate that song. I thought that was a terrible song. And yeah, you know, if you like that song, great. I'm happy for you. I'm always glad that people can enjoy things I don't enjoy. 1.5 stars out of 5 for me for Grease. It is on Peacock Premium if you want to check it out. Alright guys, thank you again for watching. See you guys next time.
I don't know about these chicks.
Yeah, they're only good for one thing.
Then what are you supposed to do with them for the other 23 hours and 45 minutes of the day?
Is that all it takes? 15 minutes?
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my letterbox at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.